Welcome to Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI. I'm your host, Nancy O'Neill. Each week I speak with local professionals on a wide range of topics, from fitness to finances and from dance to dentistry. We are here to give you tips and advice on how you can live a happy and healthier life no matter what age you may be. Horizon Insurance has been protecting family and businesses since 1989. Owner Lori Augustiniak is here to talk about all things insurance and how to make sure that you are properly protected, whether it's for your home, auto, or business. Pleasure to have you on the show. Very nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you.
So let's start with being an independent agent versus an exclusive agent or an online. Why is it so important that someone goes to an independent agent, Lori?
First off, it's about choices.
Mm-hmm.
So with an independent agent, we represent many different companies, whereas an exclusive agent or a captive agent, like a State Farm, Allstate, or Farm Bureau, they represent one company. Similar Progressive, Geico 800 numbers or online. Again, it's one company that they're representing. An independent agency has, for instance, Horizon Insurance has over 37 different companies that we represent. So we can look at more options for you and tailor a program that would better fit your needs.
Yes, for the individual, because there's so many options.
Right.
So today we're going to talk about car insurance.
Yes.
Correct? Why is my car getting older and my rates going up? So why do rates change like that in general?
You know, Nancy, that's a question that my team and I hear on a daily basis. Why do my rates go up? I don't have any claims. And so, unfortunately, you know, it's, we live in the Sunshine State, right?
Yep.
Everyone wants to move to Florida.
Sure.
So as our population grows, so do the number of cars on the road. And so we have more propensity for accidents. More drivers, more cars, more accidents. Also, distracted driving has become a huge problem in the insurance industry. I mean, how many times have you looked at the car next to you and the driver is looking at their phone?
Oh my gosh.
It's scary, right?
So how do you, everybody wants a good rate, but we don't necessarily want the cheapest rate. We want to protect ourselves and protect our assets. So how do we find a good balance there?
So yes, be careful what you ask for. You know, cheapest is not always the best, right? And so people think, all insurance is the same. And it really isn't. The coverages may be the same, but without reading the policy language, and who wants to read their insurance policy?
Right.
Without reading that policy language, you don't really know the details of the policy itself and what it covers and does not cover. We have some insurance companies that may only cover listed drivers. So, for example, you have your niece come down and visit you.
Sure.
She's staying in your home for the week. Like, hey, can I borrow your car? I want to go to the beach. Well, you've given her permission, so you think, okay,
she's driving my car, but she's an uninsured motorist, or is that different?
Well, some policies may not, because she's not a listed driver on your policy, she may not be covered. So if she's involved in an accident, then you're going to be paying for that out of your own pocket.
Okay. Now, a lot of people think, again, uninsured motorists, that they're covered against that because their health insurance policies, health insurance covers that. But again, if you don't know, how can you tell? How can you be made aware of this, what you have?
Yeah, so it's a little scary. Florida, to get the tag for your car, only requires two coverages, and insurance coverages. One is $10,000 in property damage liability insurance. The other one is $10,000 in the personal injury protection. So they don't require you to have any bodily injury liability. So if you're involved in an accident, it's your fault, you're not required to have that coverage on your policy. So that's where the uninsured motorist coverage is so important.
So you should have that, absolutely.
Everyone should have that, because studies have shown 1 in 4 drivers on the Florida roads today are either uninsured or underinsured. So they hit you, they have no bodily injury liability to pay for your injuries. Then without your uninsured motorist coverage, you're going to be paying out of pocket. Sure, you can try suing them, but if they don't have any assets, you're not going to get any money out of them. Uninsured motorists cover so much more than just your medical bills. They will cover your lost wages. You know, you're out of work for a week, a month, they'll reimburse you for that. They will cover if you're in a wheelchair, your home needs to be retrofitted to accommodate the wheelchair, they'll pay for that. Long-term nursing care needs, they could pay for that.
Wow.
They could pay for yard work or cleaning.
Anything that, you know, unexpected things that you don't think of until it's too late. What are some of the recommendations that you would have people look at when they come to you? What would you recommend that people should absolutely have and keep their costs low?
Right. So ways to reduce your premium. Deductibles. You know, that is one option to have. If you have a $250 deductible, you know, look to maybe increase it to $500 or $1,000. You, those smaller claims, you don't want to be filing a claim for $250 because then it sits on your record for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's one option to have. Mileage discount, that's, we're starting to see that more frequently with insurance companies. So if your lifestyle needs have changed, so now you're retired, so you're not driving to the office every day, they'll offer a mileage discount. Something that more and more of the insurance companies are doing nowadays is what we call the telematics. Telematics can monitor your driving habits, and so they could offer up to a 40% discount.
Great.
Weekend cars, if you have like a fun car, so 2 drivers, 3 cars, that weekend car, we could put it on a specialty policy.
Excellent. Okay, well, we're going to have you back and we're going to talk more about other insurances, but this was very informative.
Good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Don't go away. ageVital Pharmacy shares some more tips on improving your health when we come back. If you're one of the millions of Americans who struggle to get enough sleep, there are important things you should know before turning to a pill or potion. Back this week with some solutions is Dr. Jenny from ageVital Pharmacy. I just can't wait to see you every week to hear what we're going to talk about. So today we're going to talk about insomnia.
Yes, insomnia.
Which so many people have problems with.
It's the #1 thing right now, insomnia, and it's not just plaguing an elderly population, it's plaguing the youth as well. And that should be horrifying to most people. Why are teenagers not able to sleep well? Why are college students not sleeping well? And remember, we talked about stress in our environment, in our adrenal glands, some of our other segments.
They all tie in, right?
Everything ties in together, and you go to your doctor and they want to give you your Lunesta or your Valium, or they give you all of these neuropsych medications that damages the prefrontal cortex of the brain, damages the basal ganglia. It literally, Nancy, rewires your brain. So you're taking supplements that are neurodegenerative as opposed to neuroenhancing, and that's something that you don't want to take that. It's like, give me something that's an actual chemical that's going to help me with sleep.
Chemical, but natural.
Biochemical individuality. Like, remember I told you I don't like the word organic, and I don't even like the word natural, because things can be natural, but not natural to our body.
Exactly.
So I love biochemical, biochemically identical, I think is the word that I'm coining.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
So what is in my body that's causing me to have insomnia? To not be able to, my brain tell me, lights out. And I've struggled with that. I have 4 kids, my goodness, and it seems like after you have baby number 1, it's downhill from there because you're up and then your sleep cycle gets messed up.
Never sleep the same again.
I had to test myself for deficiencies. So, okay, how do I get my sleep cycle back? How do I dream? How do I have that recuperative, regenerative sleep again?
So how do people? What are the treatments?
Yeah, once we test, you can do a blood spot, you can do saliva testing, you can do urine testing, and you can look for chemicals in your body. Magnesium, this is something your body will naturally, pull out of foods, and your body can utilize it. It's a neuro de-excitatory nutrient, I call it, because it tells your body to calm down. So magnesium is very calming. It's great for autistic children too. This is what calms autistic children down when they're so anxious and nervous.
That's so interesting.
You take that right before you go to bed, do a tablespoon or a teaspoon of that right before bed. Oh, your brain just tells you, lights out.
And you mix that in water?
Yeah, you mix it in water.
Juice?
I have it in a syrup form, I have it in capsule form, I have it in a suppository form. Just depends on the person. Everyone's different in how they want to take it.
And
Not
if they
everyone
come to
likes
your
to pop pills.
pharmacy,
We'll assess and we give them their options.
Okay.
CBD, the non-psychoactive ingredient from the cannabis plant, that's huge right now.
Now, you mentioned this on another program, so this crosses a lot of
because
areas.
It helps. It's an antioxidant. And if you have inflammation neurologically that's blocking certain chemicals from making that, from converting into something called GABA or melatonin. Everybody knows what melatonin is. So you want your body to get rid of that inflammation.
So when you talk about CBD oil, is it the same one for insomnia as it is for other issues that you may have?
Or
there's
different concentrations.
There's different concentrations.
You usually have a 500 milligram or 1,000 milligrams or a 2,000 milligrams. And everybody's different in how much they need. And you have a full spectrum and a broad spectrum. So a full spectrum has the less than 0.3% THC. So it actually has a small amount of the THC, just enough to be considered industrial cannabis. So the industrial cannabis is what's, considered hemp. So CBD in essence is hemp. Cannabis is hemp.
Well, and it's a natural.
It's a plant.
It's a plant.
Just like asparagus, just like kale, just like spinach, all of these wonderful whole foods.
They have hemp milk.
Yes, and it's so good for you. It's such a great source of proteins and vitamins and essential fatty acids. So anything that has fatty acids in it feeds and nourishes our body. So just like kale and spinach. So cannabis plant should be labeled as a whole foods. I tell people you can eat it like a salad.
There you go.
And put tomatoes and cucumbers. Put it in your salad. It's really good for you. Now this is a supplement that I formulated. It's called my GABA Dream. Now, my GABA's got a combination of magnesium, the melatonin, the theanine. These are all neuro de-excitatory amino acids and vitamins. So it's a good combination of everything where if you're not quite sure what you're deficient in, this just makes people calm down. I take 2 capsules of that, especially if I'm up late and I'm writing papers or, the little one is keeping me up and I have to keep going. My 3-year-old, my goodness, she makes me an insomniac because she wants to hop in my bed. So, I take 2 of those and I feel so good. And you wake up replenished.
What is in this?
Theanine, which is an amino acid that calms your brain cells down. It's got magnesium, it's got melatonin, and it's got an amino acid called GABA. The GABA amino acid really helps calm your brain waves.
And this we've seen before.
L-glycine, it doesn't require a script, but like I said, everybody needs a different amount, so I do put it under a prescription. They can just come in and get it. The pharmacist can write a script for that. L-glycine is the smallest of amino acids, Nancy, but what it does neurologically, it just helps you calm down, really gives you that super calm feeling, because that's really what you need, is you need something to tell your brain, it's time for you to go to bed.
It's time to go to bed.
And to make all that noise. Insomnia is noise, neurological noise, where you're thinking. And women, we can't turn our brains off. Okay, we can't go to a nothing box like men do. Men can go into a nothing box. When I ask my husband, what are you thinking? He says nothing. He means nothing. Men are all like that. We don't have that superpower.
That's so funny.
We need chemicals to do that.
So this is the type of thing you will test for at your pharmacy.
Yes.
And one of these products you would recommend?
Yep, or they can come right in with even without testing. If they're having sleep issues, I recommend any of these supplements and it'll work. The GABA amine is a good place to start, the GABA Dream. So, once they're done, when they come in, they're like, oh, I had my first night's sleep in a long time.
And if it doesn't work, then they might want to do a little bit more.
Then they could do a little bit more
extensive
investigative
testing.
work, because sometimes it could be related to hormones too.
All right.
So
great. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Nancy.
Esther Halt with Star Financial joins us after the break, so please stay with us. Mr. Halt, the president of Star Financial Solutions, is back this week, and we're talking about important topics of death, divorce, and other issues, and how this can affect your finances. Very important. All of these things are unfortunately going to happen, some of them, all of them, but we need to know what to do. And with these life changes, what do you do with your finances, and how do you change the way you think about money when something happens? Yeah, I don't know if you want to take one at a time, death, divorce, and whatever, but
these are really important, and this affects women much more than men. Women outlive men most of the time, and they also become caretakers, either for their husbands, for their children, or for their parents. So these issues very much affect women. I always say that, you know, most women at some point are going to have to take control of their assets and their money, whether they have for a while or a lot of times they get thrown into it. And what happens is you're married, your husband's doing everything, and then all of a sudden he passes, or you get divorced, and now you have everything. What are you going to do? And a lot of times these women don't even know where the important papers are or what's out there because he's been doing all of it. And I always say it is so important for women to at least know about this stuff in advance so that when this horrible, scary time comes, they're not going to be blindsided by it.
Sure. What are some of the financial issues going along with that could impact someone?
Well, all of these things can be very, very expensive. Certainly when somebody passes, now you're on your own, your income's going to change, you know, the money you're living on, and not all of your expenses will be less. You know, if you have a mortgage, that's not going to be less, and you're not going to buy as much food for the house and that kind of thing. But you have less income coming in. Also, in the case of, you know, taking care of a loved one, it's very expensive. You have medical care, you're buying extra things for your loved ones. So it really can drain your assets pretty quick if any of these things happen and you don't have the income or your expenses are going up.
Okay. Difficult to do, but how can you plan for some of these major life changes?
Most important, know where everything is. Know where the money is, know where the accounts are, know who to call. I always say definitely women need to have their own advisor, and they need to know who their tax professional is. And that way they have somebody to call right away that they've already built a relationship with. And that takes a lot of the stress off of a very stressful time. And you have somebody that can guide you through these things that has done it before.
Okay, now depending again on what the circumstances are, there's a lot of papers that one might not know, like you said, where they are. How do you know what to collect?
Statements. Statements, statements, statements. You need statements for your life insurance. You need statements for other annuities and other kinds of insurance. You need your statements at the brokerage firm, your bank statements, all of this. And it's getting harder and harder because a lot of people go online to get this and they don't have them mailed to the home anymore. So if you know what the passwords are and you know to check the mail in advance and get these statements, also, you need to know where's the will, where's your important papers, where's the deed to your house, where's the title to your car. You need to know where all this is. It's really important.
And it, you know, a lot of times we don't talk about that. You know, we don't like to talk about those possibilities, but sooner than later.
Right.
Because when you're in the middle of that, is not the time to have to be dealing with where do I find all of these things, right? Who do you call first?
A lot of my clients call me. They call their financial advisor. You can call your attorney first. But one of the professionals that you've already maintained a relationship is the best person to call first. Obviously, a financial advisor has already worked this through with other clients most of the time, so they'll know who to call. Do you have to call your attorney? You can call them. You know, or maybe you need to call an accountant, and they can really help a lot. Your advisor or your you know, financial planner, a lot of times the same person, like in my situation, and they've done this before. And so they can really be a huge help when you're going through this and lead you in the right direction.
Any other words of wisdom that you would like to share before we close today?
I tell women, take control of a portion of your assets and work with somebody on your own to build that relationship, whether it's just your own IRA or a portion of the marital assets. That way you know the lingo and you have somebody you can turn to when you need to do this.
Okay. Now, what if your husband doesn't want you to do that?
That's a stickly wicket, isn't it?
Yeah. But we'll go into that another time. Okay. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI. To find more tips from local experts, you can view previous episodes and complete seasons at snntv.com under programming. We'll be back next Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. with more tips on how you can live a happier and healthy life. Until then, have a wonderful week.